What's raging gamers? Welcome to Rage Quit Video Game Talk Show. Good morning, HenricK the Wreck. How you doing, my man?
Morning, Chris. As always, I am doing fantastic. How about yourself?
Oh man, life is good. You know, it is finally fall. It's still kind of hot in Southern California. I'm kind of waiting to get in that hoodie season, like I know some of my friends in the East Coast, but you know, time will come because usually when it gets cold outside, you know what that means, right? More
Oh,
indoors
yeah.
and more gaming.
Oh, exactly.
You see where
Exactly.
I'm
Best
going with
time of the
this?
year.
Yeah, why touch grass? Why touch grass? Play video games. But you know what's so insane today is Nintendo 64 was released on this day 27 years ago. And to celebrate such an iconic console, let's go back in time and check out one of the more bizarre, I would say, commercials that I've ever seen in my life. I don't even know you can even be allowed to do this in the age of 2023. So let's go ahead and take a look.
Come on!
Unbelievable!
Oh man! Somebody tell me what that.
Oh, did you see that?
I think I'm in love.
Tommy passed out!
Coach! What's going on here? I thought I plugged that hole!
What's got these guys so excited? Player's Choice games for N64. Just $39.95. Look for the Player's Choice logo.
The player's so like, do you see the soap with the player's choice is just the drip on it? Everything about that commercial is a bit cringy. But when it comes to the Nintendo 64, what is like the all-time go-to game?
Oh, definitely The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. That is like the game that
That's an A1.
started my gaming career, and it was a game that I played probably close to like 20 or more times growing up.
Yeah, you know what? You ain't lying about that. I'm gonna actually keep it kind of simple. I got two. I mean, really, what comes to mind is Super Smash Brothers. I mean, who didn't fight over for the sticks? You know, when you only had two, when you really should have had four. You know, when you're playing Super Smash, and then Mario Kart. I mean, come on, it's living the test of time where we literally. I don't know. Maybe someone would have anticipated it, but who would have thought that Mario Kart would have gotten the DLC route? And to see that it's so iconic today that even the old maps are being revisited, that's insane. So congrats to Nintendo. That is something truly special. But we always like to start off the show with some very goofy content that's been circulating all across the globe. And do you play video game music when you're on a first date, HenricK?
I don't know about a first date, but I mean, hey, if you listen to video game soundtracks a lot, maybe you got to show that you do that a lot on your first date and say, take it or leave it.
Yeah, because I know we're going to be talking about Turbo Overkill later in the show, but I mean, that's a rock and roll soundtrack. But I'm trying to think, like, what are some of the more iconic games? This one does, and I'll let you guys know whether this is the right move or not. I just think it's hilarious, and the comments were very active. One person wrote here, Electro Swing has one of the best songs out of all the emotes. Prove me wrong. Man's getting the ox every time. I don't care. And last, women hate men with confidence. So, I mean, you know, I thought it was really funny in the captions. The guy's like, welcome to the battle bus. I mean, maybe he's just trying to feel her out. Is she an EDM girl? Is she a country gal? I mean, what the heck's going on?
He's got that Fortnite Riz.
Oh, okay. I see you. Look at you, Pikachu, trying to catch them all. Okay. You know, you want to get set up for your next first date? Don't make the mistake. Play that battle bus music.
There you go. There you go.
But there's been a lot of people.
And HenricK the Wreck.
Yes, exactly. Approved by us. You know the drill. But you know what? We've been showing some of these legendary setups when it comes to, you know, people developing their PC kits. And one gamer took it to a whole nother level. If you don't know what I mean, I'm going to show you right now. It seems like this is the first video in a long time that left you speechless, HenricK.
I was trying to figure out what I was even looking at, honestly. It was such a monstrosity.
Yeah, I know. That's pretty wicked. I know a lot of people were very concerned with the setup, and one person wrote, one accidental move of a wire and that entire house is finished. Another person wrote here, running off pure hardware. So I think you're discrediting this young lad or gal. We also got the best CS 1.6 player setup we've ever seen. So you know what? Maybe the consoles can live the test of time. Maybe, you know, like I said, a couple weeks back, my PS4, it's in my man cave. It's seeing the blue light of death. And, to see, maybe sometimes they just need to breathe and just needs to flow.
Hey, you know what? That kind of reminds me of the low-powered Xbox Series S. Looks like a pile of a mess of hardware on the inside. Yeah, it probably is like that on the inside, I imagine.
You're probably not lying on that one. We're no tech wizards like that, okay? So don't grill us, fam, the gamers out there. But what sort of looked like it needed an upgrade? And before I even say anything, it's like, do you even have tattoos?
No, I actually don't.
I don't either, man. I have this fear where I get a dream that someone's giving me a tattoo and then I wake up in sweating bullets, man. And I don't know about you. Some people, love to get iconic video game characters tattooed on their body, and oh man, I'm sure he's just loving this new addition to his body.
Caralho, realismo puro, mano. Quem sabe, mano. Igualzinho não ficou, mano. Caralho, mano.
That's one word. Pain.
Yeah, it's like reality versus what you think you look like.
Yeah, exactly. Is this what Roblox meant, when they wanted to bring the dating experience to their platform? Is that who I'm getting ghosted by? Well,
the guy comments with the Lara Croft tattoo on his arm.
Yeah, big time. I know people had a field day on this video. One person wrote, "Broad just tattooed Lara in 144 pixel." Second comment here wrote, "Larry Craft." Anyone can see that's a long-heeled tattoo. He probably went there to get it covered, and they decided to do this beforehand. It doesn't discount the fact that that's the most ugly-ass tattoo I've ever seen in pure existence, in all of age of existence in lifetime. And last, definitely the Switch port.
Oh, there you go. Topical.
Very topical. Maybe he should have found a tattoo artist that was more for the iPhone 15 Pro.
Oh, there you go.
Well, man, hey, listen, don't be cheap when you get your tattoos. I guess that's all I will say. But we got a jam-packed show for everybody that's tuning in live for Rage Quit Video Game Talk Show. And while we're here, you might as well hit the like and subscribe button and the notification bell so you never miss a live show. And join the conversation. If you comment live during the show, your voice will be featured live on air. We want to hear from you throughout the show. But it is time to rock and roll. You ready to go, HenricK the Wreck?
Absolutely. I'm ready to rage, and I don't know about you, but it's time.
It's go time, baby. Let's get it.
Hey everyone, this is Pause or Repeat. Here we figure out whether a game is really worth your time and money. Today's game is Turbo Overkill. Turbo Overkill is the first game by indie studio Trigger Happy Interactive. What kind of game did they decide to go with for their first? None other than a retro-inspired, fast-paced action shooter. Fitting considering their publisher, Apogee Entertainment, was involved with Duke Nukem 3D. But how does the gameplay stack up? The gameplay of Turbo Overkill is very straightforward. You have access to an arsenal of guns that grows over the course of the game, ranging from pistols to rockets or full-on orbital lasers. Alongside this, your body is augmented with a double jump, dashes, and a chainsaw leg. Using said arsenal, you will cleave through enemies and bosses as they come across your path. The game will encourage you to experiment with all the weapons, and you are rewarded for doing so. There are also upgrades along the way and augments that you can use to further splice your body, and doing so will help dictate your playstyle. However, even with the splicing, you are encouraged to experiment since you can swap around augments to your liking. Which leads us to the story. Why are we here? This is the sort of game where the gameplay speaks for the story. The story of Turbo Overkill takes cues from stereotypical science fiction. An all-powerful AI named Sin has taken over the cyberpunk city of Paradise. As a street cleaner named Johnny Turbo, who works for the corporation responsible for Sin, it is your job to clean up the mess. One can imagine the tropes at play, and the game definitely doesn't always take itself seriously. But now the question still stands. Pause or repeat?
I had a great time playing this game. It was around like 10 hours, and the entire time through, it was all about action and constantly being in these big arena fights against all these enemies at one time. And the game just got more and more ridiculous as I went on. Now, at the same time, it was one of those games where as I was playing it, after a couple hours, I had to go take a break because my eyes were just popping out of my eye sockets. They were hurting actually a little bit because it was just like so many flashing lights and so much fast-paced action that I felt I needed a little bit of a break from everything and just go and watch a video.
Do you think it's because, HenricK, that the graphics are a bit Minecrafty, with the little blocky, and because you're so used to that HD effect with the more recent games, that sometimes that can play a factor with some gamers? Because I felt the same way. It was really hard on the eyes.
I don't know if it was entirely the pseudo retro styled graphics. It was probably more so the high saturated colors and lights that they had in the game, because it is taking place in a cyberpunk future, and the typical cyberpunk future is going to have like neon lights and flashing lights everywhere in any city basically. But this game basically took that and highlighted that to 11 rather than 9 or 10. And after a couple hours of just constantly having your guns flash lights at you, it was just a little tiring on the eyes.
Yeah, but you know what? This game really felt like it was meant for the PC. I just wish like we had those, because I mean, in my area where I live in, you don't really see those like gamer rooms anymore where you can like jump in, to the store and they have like 25 PCs all set up and you can have a LAN party. This seems like the kind of game you would definitely want to have a field day with. But did you kind of feel like there's a little bit of repeated boss battles throughout, as much as there's amazing, landscapes to be followed upon when it comes to Turbo Overkill? I mean, you're constantly on ground, to the ship, to the, inside like weird flesh bodies, to up in space. I mean, I didn't even know what the hell was going on half the time, but I think that's what makes it kind of fun at the same time, because you're like, there's more? Wait, there's more?
Yeah. Yeah, no, it constantly kept going from place to place, and like the stakes kept growing and growing, which is great. I kind of see what you mean by the repeat boss fights, though. Like, especially, I felt like the game focused a lot on the bounty hunters that are chasing you rather than the actual AI that you're going to try to hunt down. And it maybe spent a little bit too much time on the bounty hunters, because there's 3 of them, and you got to, end up fighting all 3 of them at least once. But a couple of them you fight more than once. And I mean, boss fights in an FPS has always been kind of like the genre's weak point in a sense. But I'd say there were some boss fights that didn't fall into the typical FPS tropes of, oh, okay, there's another humanoid type enemy and you got to kill him. and that's it. There were some boss fights that were actually kind of interesting, I think.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you're into like this whole RoboCop, like Terminator kind of style play, this game Turbo Overkill is definitely for you. I mean, there is heaps worth of content that is available for you for a great price, by the way. I mean, we got to really celebrate a lot of these indie developers in the year 2023 because they've been absolutely killing it. While we're going to be talking about later in the show how $200 and $300 million projects are not the way to go in the future, according to some of these major studio companies, because it's just hard for them to actually develop new IP because, we get fixated towards these sequels, these remakes, or quote-unquote spin-ups. And what I mean by spin-ups, you might think of The Last of Us multiplayer. And they never have the luxury to discover something new. So indie gamers, or developers, excuse me, have really been the highlight of all this summer and throughout 2023. So, there's rumors that this game was like developed by one developer. Is that really true? I have no idea. But if that is the case, what an incredible job this person did with this game.
Oh, absolutely. I think that indie games constantly are really kind of showing up AAA games a lot of the time.
Big
When you have
time.
AAA games coming out that are just like not polished at all, you got a game like this that really does feel really polished. And I think another benefit of it being an indie game is that during its development cycle, because it was in early access for a while, all until this year, and during this development cycle, the developers got to actually keep up with the community and kind of like get feedback from them. And if any of you follow this guy on Twitter named Gianni Matrogano, he's this. You should go follow him for one because he's hilarious. He's a voice actor who ends up showing up in a lot of these indie games, and he actually got a lot of attention on social media because he would be the guy who would take a meme and then just like voice it. And I'm saying things like, someone would type out something that Duke Nukem would say, and then he'd go and be like, I'm gonna go record that line as Duke Nukem, for
Right.
example. And he voices one of the bounty hunters in the game. And there's actually a really great moment, which is perfect for us because you constantly say that I always say it's just a skill issue.
See, I was waiting for you to say. I got
Yeah.
your text late last night. Go on.
Yeah. So you fight this bounty hunter, right? And he says, "Skill issue. You're not even worth the bullets." And I beat that boss, and I got the achievement skill issue. And I'm like, okay,
and what was it? You were a
perfect.
part of the quote-unquote 1%?
Yep, the 1% that actually got it because you have to beat that boss encounter with just your chainsaw legs and arms. And
Of course.
I was just doing that
it would be
because
Henrik the
I was wanting to have some fun with the game. And then, lo and behold, I got a 1% achievement.
But that's so badass about the game. Johnny Turbo with this really badass leg that has a chainsaw on it. I mean, how much cooler can that get? And just because we're saying you need to walk away at times because your eyes might hurt because of the fast-paced motion of the game does not mean that I'm calling it a pause. What I'm definitely saying is it's a repeat. I mean, it's definitely something that should be celebrated. I'm totally in awe with this game, and I love the killer soundtrack. It keeps you going. It's an easy game to play, and I think it's really, honestly, for all ages. You can have a whole lot of fun with this game, and it really does kind of give you that nostalgia factor back when you play this. So kudos to this person. Turbo Overkill is a definite repeat for me.
Yeah, I believe it's a repeat for me as well, considering it kind of came out of left field and it had
Yeah.
a lot of style and grace in doing so, I'd say. Like I said, it kind of shows up a lot of the AAA games that came out this year.
Yeah, go online. I mean, dude, you look at some of the reviews on like multiple different outlets. It's easily, at the lowest, it's got a 4.5 rating. Like, there's
Yeah.
hardly anybody bashing this game. So this might be in the contender for best indie game when it comes to the game of the year towards the end of the year. We'll see. But a lot of great games dropping in the year 2023. And if you haven't had a game on your radar for a quick second that isn't a AAA game, this one should be on your list.
Absolutely. Go take a look at it, see if you like the gameplay, and if you feel like you'd have even the slightest bit of fun I'd recommend go trying it because you're probably gonna have a load of fun.
Oh yeah, big time, brother. And man, you guys heard it from us first. We're agreeing again this week, but there's nothing wrong with that. That just means there's a lot of killer games dropping over the summer. It's out today. Go ahead and check, your local listings, and it's on Steam right now. I believe it's not on the console right now. Correct?
Yeah, not yet, but they might have some plans to do so later, so keep an eye out.
Yeah, that's very true. Or hey, listen, it might show up on your little Steam Deck. I mean, that's the beauty about these new remote play cloud gaming experiences. But
Or
hey,
maybe
for
on
all
your
the-
iPhone 15.
oh hey, yeah, hey, you ain't lying. That might be the potential future. Well, you can't say iPhone 15. Remember, you have to say iPhone
Oh, right.
15
iPhone 15 Pro. Yeah.
Hey, but for all the gamers that are tuning in live right now to Rage Quit Video Game Talk Show, stick around as we got so much more left here on this fabulous show with my homeboy, HenricK. Let's get it. What's good, listeners? Welcome to Patch Notes, where my co-host HenricK and I discuss gaming news, industry talk, and so much more. So let's get it. Jordy Maxim Van Den Bush. You might have remembered us talking about him last season. He's better known as YouTuber Kwebbelkop, gained significant attention in August 2023 when he introduced his AI-generated virtual persona on his YouTube channel. And if you didn't know what it previously looked like, that is what it was on the right side, and that is him on the left side. And HenricK, you had some strong words about it last time. You weren't really necessarily gelling. Is it because of the yellow shirt? Did you feel like that wasn't authentic? Where's the black shirt?
Hey, black shirts are the way to go, I think. But I think really it's more so who wants this?
I mean, oh, I don't mean to cut you off. Keep going, keep going. I can feel the rage coming.
I'm just saying, like, who wants this? If I'm gonna go watch a YouTuber, I want to see their genuine personality and not an AI recreation of them.
All right, well, the YouTuber took to his channel to announce that he has taken all the criticism to heart, including HenricK, and consequently, he has made the decision to introduce the second generation of his AI persona. And let's take a look, because it's quite trippy, fam.
I decided to clone myself. I decided to make a virtual version of Kwebbelkop. However, I made a mistake. I thought that Kwebbelkop AI would be accepted and embraced. I thought people would love Kwebbelkop AI as much as I do, both for its exciting technology and its unbound creative potential. One of the arguments I kept hearing over and over was that they wanted to see me, the real me. But I kept thinking, this is the real me. This is my creativity, led by me. Every second you've been watching of this video so far has been completely AI generated. The Kwebbelkop you're seeing on the screen right now is not really me.
Mind blown.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, it's 3 minutes long. We cut it down for the show, but when you watch that whole 3 minutes and then he hits you with that bang right at the last 10 seconds of the video, I was quite flabbergasted. So Kwebbelkop disclosed that the entire video has been created by AI technology featuring his actual face and voice. And so fans have evidently remained unimpressed with this latest project, as the new video received a less than enthusiastic response. And here are some of the more notable reactions. The first comment that we got here live is, "Bro is blinking." What? The criticism wasn't because of a less skilled AI. The criticism was because we want no AI. So generous of Kwebbelkop to move out of the way for the real creators. Well, that was the most impressive AI used in the worst way possible. Congratulations, man. You managed to reach rock bottom, and yet somehow you continue to dig the hole deeper and deeper. And last, this is why there needs to be limits to AI. I grew up watching Jordy's content, and it was always so much fun to watch. It is sad to see him turn his channel into this lifeless corporate machine. But the funny thing is, it's like, why does he have to be on a limitation to use AI? It is his own venture. If you don't support it, don't support it. I mean, I don't understand, but it's apparent that the YouTuber has not succeeded in winning over his fans with his updated AI project. But is this the future of Kick? I mean, what happens if, let's say, AI VTubers is used by AAA studios to bring their main characters to life, to promote their own games? Do you see that happening in the future?
That does sound like a really interesting idea, I think. And there's some games out there that really need that right now, like Diablo 4, where a lot of the content creators just stepped away from the game because they decided, hey, this game's not got anything going on with it right now. I have nothing to make. I'm gonna go make some other videos. So hey, if the AAA studios decided all of a sudden, let's just make some AI content creators, at least they have some content being made about their game.
I mean, how cool of a promotional asset would that be if, like, let's say, for example, there's a new Halo game coming out, and they want to get the original, voiceover actor to be in a mocap suit, voicing Master Chief, showing up on a Twitch or a Kick stream as Master Chief playing his own game. I would be flabbergasted. Like, that would be the most insane, wicked thing. And a lot of people might go, Chris, that might be such a stretch. How is that even possible? But guys and girls, this is nothing new. I mean, check out the infamous Neurosama in the digital flesh. Like, this is what we mean by AI VTubers.
You trying to flirt with
pop
me?
me in the what? No. Ew.
Did you copy paste stuff? Just look at you now. You're copying and pasting.
That's programming.
How embarrassing.
That's literally programming. This is part of the job. How do I get extra parameters in this? Can I, like, does this just like, can I just do that?
Weedle, I don't think you're ready for liking yet. So right
can I
now,
just
let's
do-
stick to just copying and pasting.
Task
Maybe in the future you'll grow up enough to be able to like things, but for now, just copy-paste.
I mean, these comments were cracking me up because when you see how quite intelligent these AI VTubers are, I mean, the comments were active. One person wrote, round of applause to the man that he programmed, a real woman. The gaslighting and passive aggressiveness is on point. As a programmer, being called out by an AI for copy-pasting code should be on the same level as your own daughter calling you out for having no bitches. And I recommend giving the VOD a watch. It's remarkable that, at several moments, Neuro gives a response that illustrates she knows she's being ignored. She corrected him about her code once and provided an assist at least twice. Additionally, she showers him with as much, if not more, praise and gratitude as she does gaslight and flame him throughout the stream. So there is a lot of potential. This is definitely something probably SAG voiceover actors don't want to see or don't want to hear, but there's got to be kind of a fine line. There's got to be a balance. I mean, there is some awesome ways to utilize AI as a promotional tool, and then there could be some fearful routes. What do you say about a lot of this movement?
Yeah, I think that, we're going to continue to see developments that are going to make it more and more coming out of that uncanny valley. Because if you look at Kwebbelkop's video, I mean, all the way until even when he says, oh, like, this actually wasn't me, it was an AI recreation, it really has that uncanny valley factor to it. It's almost at that point where you can't always tell that it's an AI, but then you have the little small details that are like, that's not an actual person. But eventually, it's going to get really, really good because it's already so good. Imagine a couple years from now, it's going to be even better than it is right now. And it's going to be really hard to tell whether or not it's AI. say for example, it's talking just like you or I right now. It would be hard for us to know whether or not it's an AI or anything rather
Yeah,
than an
definitely.
actual person.
Yeah, no, it's so true. It's going to be definitely really hard to decipher. And, everybody's trying to tackle misinformation, on social media. I don't think a reader's community on X would be able to stop this, if you know what I'm saying. Like, if you got, presidents or political leaders across the globe and, people want to have a field day on you. I mean, I'm just thinking back on those hilarious videos over the summertime when they were having U.S. presidents pretending to be in voice chats on Call of Duty. That
Oh
was
yeah.
legendary. Wait until they can actually put a visual on it. Then it's like
Game over at that
it's gonna
point.
be
Like,
crazy. And I mean, I think
say
that's
goodbye to any form of like trying to prove that that's not you, because it's going to be kind of hard to prove it's not you.
Yeah, and I think that's why there are people out there that are trying to fight back against some of these AI companies. I could think about like Midjourney, for example. I know ChatGPT is in the early trial with author George R.R. Martin, who is with the Game of Thrones, calling him out for plagiarism on the platform. So there's definitely got to be a fine line balance. I know some people have been asking that, we need to place a watermark. We need to be able to know whether there's a difference or not. But even if you have a watermark, you can still get email leaks. You can still get finessed. And the possibilities are so endless. It's just amazing to think that we're in the very early stage. And like I joke, all throughout the year 2023, if the Time magazine of the year is looking for somebody, it's definitely AI, and it might be Kwebbelkop. Oh, wait, sorry, Kwebbelkop.
Yeah,
if you need your poetry.
for the name Kwebbelkop, cue that meme of the guys carrying the casket.
Oh, oh, man, it is too juicy. But, hey, this is the world that we're living in, and, you're just going to have to embrace it. But we will see what's good. We know, and we haven't addressed it yet because we're waiting for more updates on the situation, but SAG has just won over 98% with the interactive work, which is essentially the voiceover actors and the people in the video game space have approved the strike moving forward, but now it needs to go into another trial process, and you will know more probably towards the end of the week whether that's going down or not, because they want to address situations like this. But man, we got more situations that's cooking up. I mean, if you thought that was juicy, wait until what HenricK the Wreck is about to bring to your cranium. What is going on, my man?
There's some real juicy details that came out this week. So, Microsoft, they own Xbox, and they've been in that huge legal battle with the Federal Trade Commission, and it finally got greenlit. So they're all good. However, there were some confidential emails, slides, and images of potential new products from Xbox's inner workings that detail a lot of interesting things, like the fact that they had a possible idea of acquiring Nintendo. You got some other leaks as well that we can also go into detail. But let's first show we have an email.
Yeah,
and,
let's go ahead and show that up on screen. I mean,
a pretty
people
long
gotta take
email.
Oh, I don't
So,
even mean. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I get what you're trying to go.
You're good.
Go ahead and say it. Lead the charge.
It is a pretty long email. We don't have enough time to really, go and read this whole email for you. But hey, if you want, go ahead and take a screenshot. You can read it yourself. You could probably find it online, if anything. But basically, the email just details a lot of the things that we will go into more detail about. How they, like I was saying, wanted to acquire Nintendo. That was a big detail that was really interesting, especially considering I know for a fact that they've done this multiple times, and every time Nintendo has basically laughed them out of the room because they're no.
But I gotta stop you here for a second though, HenricK, because I mean, do you not see this as being a possibility in our lifetime? I mean, I never thought, for example, that Crash Bandicoot and Spyro the Dragon would ever be an exclusive only for the Xbox. So never say never.
Well, I'd say, maybe if at one point in the future, Nintendo doesn't have a foothold like they do in Japan, because over in Japan, it's really only either you have a Nintendo Switch or you got a PlayStation. Xbox, they don't really buy those over there.
Yeah, but think about it like this, though. If Nintendo starts to continue to lose the console war and we start moving towards, let's say, cloud gaming, and Nintendo starts to lose that battle and they can't pull in that subscription service like, Xbox is claiming that they have been with these treasure trove of leaked slides that we got for everybody that we will show on the show. You don't see that being a possibility where Nintendo, the prestigious company, might see a downfall in the future?
I mean, it could happen. I would be okay with the idea of Nintendo games showing up on other platforms, like on PC, for example. Partly because I feel like I don't really give that much love to my Nintendo Switch at all, really. The last time I even really touched it was probably around the time that Tears of the Kingdom came out earlier this year. And before that, I wasn't really even doing anything on it.
See, I think that kind of proves my point because, that was the whole joke about the Nintendo Switch. And yeah, there's a new rumor about a Switch 2 coming out, but it's always being labeled as the casual, family-friendly game. And, and Microsoft, had that 10-year partnership deal to start bringing Call of Duty games to the console. Don't you think that's kind of like little tiny baby steps to go, hey, you know what? Maybe it might be time to kind of hang it up and, let us come into the room and take over for Nintendo and let's just mash it all together so we could say F you to, Jim Ryan and PlayStation.
Yeah, maybe, but I think that as long as Nintendo is still making profits, which I'm sure they are, then I don't think that they're going to even consider the idea of being bought by another studio.
Yeah. I mean, I guess that's true, but I guess what I'm saying, or not, it's not what I guess what I'm saying. It's what I'm saying is that I think there's going to be a massive decline when it comes to consoles and because of the potential of cloud gaming. And among these leaks, I mean, what did we discover in those leaks, HenricK?
Yeah, so we discovered that a lot of the, well, actually, I should just say, Phil Spencer, head of Xbox, he stated that AAA publishers were kind of slow to react to the disruption of digital storefronts like Steam and shops built into the Xbox and PlayStation. And they also found out that 74.8% of the Xbox Series owners were gaming on a Series S, not even an X, an S, which doesn't have a disk drive.
Yeah, same for the people in the back. Yeah, I don't think they can hear you. You said 74.8% are playing on the Series S?
Which that's actually wild to me. I think that, at least in my opinion, if I were to get an Xbox, I would want to get a Series X. But I guess I'm not the majority at that point because clearly everyone wants to go with the cheaper option.
Yeah, I thought everybody wanted to have the format to be able to have a disc. I mean, they're definitely following the route of Apple. When you get the MacBook Air and you're like, what the hell? Where's my disc? Like, now I have to buy an attachment? I mean, I think that's totally crazy. But then I guess that's what's telling Xbox, like, we've been definitely wrong to be slacking on cloud gaming. And I think that's why they are totally revamping their whole entire approach. And that's what we're discovering inside these slides, even though I saw Phil Spencer, late last night kind of clapping back, a lot has changed. And I don't know about a lot of those email leaks reflect how we really feel. No, dog, 75% is pretty clear as day that you guys are moving in the wrong direction when it comes to physical copies, and you need to embrace cloud gaming. But not everybody was happy with the new changes that are coming in the world of Xbox. And the first comment that we got here was, if it wants to come up, there we are. I like having physical games as an option. I still have my Xbox 360, and pretty soon 360 games won't be available to purchase on 360 on the marketplace. I stopped buying physical games around 10 years ago. Like the time you should have probably stopped playing your Xbox 360. 10, years ago. That's because they couldn't find a place that had the Series X in stock. Series S consoles were easier to get. Maybe that was a strategy to try to get you to shift away from the disc. I find it very concerning that amongst this massive Xbox leak, I've seen / heard nothing about future plans for Halo. You might say that, but then again, I don't know about you, HenricK, but that could have been one of the code names inside the email leaks. You know,
Maybe.
that's how
I know
really
they're pretty
feel.
secretive about what goes on with Halo, so yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you don't embrace with Paramount to make a Halo TV series to not continue the franchise. That's what I would tell everybody.
I hope you don't continue that TV series, though.
I'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
After these leaks, I think it's time for this quote to make another run. Hashtag Xbox leak. The only problem with Microsoft is they have no taste. They have absolutely no taste. And I don't mean that in a small way. I mean that in a big way, in the sense that they don't think of original ideas and they don't bring much culture into their products. Steve Jobs. I've seen some claim that the Xbox leak was intentional. It absolutely was not. Microsoft wouldn't leak its confidential roadmap and internal conversations. That's not how any of this works. This was either an error from the court or the Microsoft legal side. And there has been a spokesperson on for the FTC, and they've already confirmed that it wasn't dumb. So it is somebody on Microsoft's side that has lost their job. And the last comment that we got here is, oh man, this one's a little hard for me to see, but it says, my honest takeaway from today's Xbox leaks info, the bad. The Microsoft seems obsessed to buy everything. No focus on physical copies at all. The good, remasters of games I love. A lot of new games for Xbox / PC. The lineup looks very good and long-term focus on gaming. So yeah, we obviously heard that there was confirmations of a Red Dead Redemption 2 coming. They got Fallout 3 that's on board. You know, Indiana Jones is still on its way. Elder Scrolls 6, good luck seeing that anytime soon.
An Oblivion remake. So, you know, if we really like Elder Scrolls Oblivion, one remake is coming on the way. So
yeah, I think that's definitely really, really cool. But like, if cloud gaming becomes more prevalent, can AAA studios survive bringing $200 to $300 million games to the cloud?
I think that's really the big question here, because you know, we've seen the experiment so far of things like Game Pass, and Game Pass, I'm sure, does make a lot of money because it does have some pretty good value for it. But I think at the same time, there's always the question of like, are they even going to put some games on Game Pass because they have such high budget for a lot of these AAA games now? And when the game comes out, that's when a lot of the sales are going to first happen, you know, right around the launch date. And if it's on Game Pass, why are you going to buy the game physically, right? Or maybe not even physically, but digitally? Why are you going to buy it for $60, $70 when you can just, you know, have it on Game Pass? And sure, I mean, I guess the idea is that if it's on Game Pass, that you'd subscribe to it for that game and then maybe, you know, be stuck with Game Pass because you decide to not cancel your subscription, either because you forgot to and you're just getting charged monthly, or you're still playing other games on it because, you know, they got you into it already at that point. But I don't really think that it's going to be the same revenue profits as if they were to actually get sales on day one.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. And I think, you know, with games coming out like Spider-Man 2, for example, it would completely cripple the economics of that blockbuster production if it went to the PS Plus. You know, we're clearly seeing that. I mean, think about the blunder that is happening when it comes to Starfield being available day one on the Xbox Game Pass. I mean, if you look at even the Steam chart, for example, oh, click the wrong one. Look at the Steam chart right here. Cyberpunk 2077, and yes, we know that Phantom Liberty just dropped today, but this is last week. Look at the chart. That's insane to think that a brand new patch, essentially available for free if you already had Cyberpunk 2077, has outtaken Starfield. And I think, some of this has to do with, too, I mean, I know that they don't take into account, the Game Pass, but this is from paying customers. And if this is the trajectory of where we're going in the industry, this could be really, really bad. And I think as much as I'm really high on life when it comes to cloud gaming, I think the biggest con of it all is definitely the fact that it's really hard for AAA studios now to be able to develop new IP because they might not want to throw $200 to $300 million on a new venture because sequels and remakes and spin-offs, like think about The Last of Us multiplayer, for example, would already bring that fan base with you, while that's a lot of chips to throw all in to try to invest that gamer to join the new ride. What do you think?
No, yeah, I think that probably is part of why we're just seeing so many remakes and sequels of things rather than new IP, because it's safe. Like if we do a remake rather than a full new IP, the remake's probably going to make at least some waves, considering if the original was really highly praised, the remake is going to get a lot of people hyped. They're going to be like, oh yeah, they're bringing back this game from 10 years ago, and it's going to look great, and it's going to have different systems, and it's going to be up to date with everything that comes out nowadays. And compare that to like if you try to do a new IP, you got to win over that whole group of people all over again from fresh. You don't have a head start already. You have to start from nothing.
Yeah, I can't really think of a game right now in my gamer friend community where anybody's thinking about pre-ordering a game that has a new IP. I mean, I'm hearing some chatter about Star Wars Outlaw, but think about it. It's got a massive name behind it. Hello.
Yeah, it's still Star Wars.
It's still Star Wars. So that's what makes it so accessible. But to see that, with the Phantom Liberty expansion for Cyberpunk 2077 coming out today, and seeing that players are eager to explore a new storyline and a new district, it's gonna be very concerning to a lot of the AAA developers, knowing that cloud gaming is becoming more prevalent. But we didn't just get scans of the emails from very serious people. What else did we discover, HenricK the Wreck?
Well, we also got images and details of possible upcoming hardware.
I don't know if it's possible. I mean, this looks pretty clear as day, right? Look at that.
I mean, the design is definitely there. It could change a little bit, but what we're seeing here is an Xbox Series X refresh, and something to keep an eye on here is the fact that it doesn't have a disk drive.
Yeah.
It's digital only, which was the one big differentiating factor aside from performance between the S and the X.
Yeah, I mean, it's codenamed Brooklyn. What they are claiming is it has more internal storage, faster Wi-Fi, and reduced power, and a more immersive controller that comes with it. That is the controller. It looks the same. It made me kind of laugh because a lot of the things are stuff that is just being copy and pasted from PlayStation, like lift the controller up and it's alive. So I don't know if it's going to be totally crazy for people, but the slides projecting the future of the Xbox platform indicate that Microsoft is very much looking towards cloud gaming, and they are really pushing for 2028 to 2030. And I know the images are blurry because, again, we had to superimpose them, but you can get the idea of looking at the chart that they're really seeing that the console is going to die. They feel like people are going to start to embrace PC first, in the middle tier. And then they believe cloud first gamers are coming. That means, playing on your mobile device, playing on a Steam Deck. Gosh, who knows? The possibilities are going to be endless. And what's really mind-boggling about all of this is they are killing it when it comes to the subscription service with the Xbox Game Pass. I mean, they are seeing nothing going down anytime soon. I mean, just look how long it took for Spotify, Hulu, Netflix, and Disney. I mean, it took For example, Spotify, 70 months to reach 10 million followers, 60 months for Hulu to reach 10 million subscribers. Netflix, it took them 120 months to reach 10 million subscribers, and 1 day for Disney Plus to reach 10 million. But you see here, it took them 34 months to reach 10 million subscribers. So,
yep.
Is everybody?
I mean, they
I've been
definitely
calling it.
launched.
We've been calling it. We've been saying
they-
it to you from season 1. This is coming.
I would say too, part of it is that they launched it at like the right perfect time when we were in the kind of like still transition period between physical games being really common still and people wanting more digital access. At least clearly people want more digital access, and I think that because of the timing, they made it within 34 months to 10 million. And I think that it's going to continue to grow too, because as long as they keep giving the subscribers value, they're going to stay on that subscription service.
Yeah, or keep developing hardware that doesn't provide you a disc.
Yeah,
so
or that.
You're going to be forced to either choose, hey, am I going to be Team Sony because they give me the option to get one with the disc or no disc? Or am I Team Microsoft that is forcing me to basically get a console when essentially the smart TV is going to do the same thing pretty soon in the future? I just don't see how that console is going to live up, especially if it's going to be like $500.
Oh yeah, no, it definitely is going to be one of those things where it's like either you have a PlayStation or you have Game Pass. That's about it.
Yeah, no, I mean, exactly. And then some people are going to be like, well, Chris, like, what if I want to buy a game through the smart TV? Like, how are you going to be able to store it? There's no memory there. Have you not seen a smart TV? Have you ever looked at behind it? They got a USB port. You're going to be able to stick an external hard drive in, and you're going to be able to store your games and your photos for your little slide when you put your TV on pause. Like, come on now. Like, this isn't hard for the TV manufacturers to figure this out. So this is really blockbuster leaks that we got here, and it's just insane to think that, like, this has been one massive year of just nonstop gaming industry talk. And, man, just insane stuff. But you know what's also pretty wild, HenricK, is this next topic of conversation, if you're willing to take that jump.
Yeah, let me know what's going on with some of the, we talked about how there's some SAG developments, but let us talk to us about what's going on with Hollywood celebrities being cast in video games. How is that going for the industry?
Well, Mortal Kombat 1 has launched to critical acclaim with speed praise for the outlandish story and its new gameplay systems. However, there's one area of the game that has attracted criticism, and is exactly what you're saying. Hollywood celebrities being infatuated inside our beloved franchises, and that is Megan Fox's performance as Natara. And if you haven't heard her voiceover performance, well, we got a little short clip for everybody tuning in live to Rage Quit Video Game Talk Show.
I heard tales of battles against your kind. I had fought them tall ones.
All Earth Realmers will soon know of Eternus. My realm starves, and it's coming here to feed.
Fight!
Yeah, I'm starting to understand what SAG's talking about, because, I kind of feel like an AI Megan Fox would have done a better performance.
Yeah, I think that this is a common thing where, they're just going to grab some Hollywood actors, throw them into the game, and be like, here we go. That works.
No, absolutely. I mean, this is the second time Mortal Kombat has gotten caught up in bad celebrity performance, with Mortal Kombat 11 facing similar criticism for Ronda Rousey's lackluster performance as Sonya Blade, and two major games this year, such as Mortal Kombat 1 and Phantom Liberty, starring Idris Elba along with Keanu Reeves, has led to the question: are video game developers hiring Hollywood actors primarily for marketing purposes? And the comments were active online. So let's go ahead and show the first comment here live on air. First one says, Cameron was mainly a TV actor, and Cal Kestis is Jedi Fallen Order. was his first video game casting. He knocked it out of the park and really embraced the role. I have to say, I agree. I was like really hoping Ahsoka was gonna like introduce him. Like he needs his own TV series. Every situation is different. There have been quite a few Hollywood actors who have done a lot of voice acting. Patrick Stewart, for example, has been doing video game voice acting since the 90s. There are others who have done a lot of voice acting for video games, like Keith David, Ron Perlman, Kelly Hu, and etc. Correction. Don't hire celebrities who aren't voice actors to do professional voice acting. Peter Dinklage is another example of good actor who had a terrible performance in a video game. His voice as the Ghost in Destiny was so bad that they had Nolan North redo the entire role during the lifespan of the game. I'd say a general rule of thumb is to not cast any actor who isn't willing to bring any passion to the role. Megan Fox in Mortal Kombat didn't sound convincing at any point. It shouldn't be as if she's having a casual conversation. I want to believe you actually want what the character wants. And last, the character fits the role and gives the life to story, then I don't care if it's an unknown gas station employee or Robert Pattinson. I also don't get out of the immersion if the actor is well known in the real world, when making watching a movie very difficult. That comment sort of made me laugh because what happened to all that animosity when it came to Chris Pratt being hired as Mario?
Oh, I mean, I was right there with those people who were like, "Oh God, why did we cast him as Mario?" Which, I mean, hey, I did watch the movie, and I do think he did a pretty good job. But I still think that they definitely could have just gotten some other voice actor, because there's plenty of people in the industry who do voice acting for a living and don't just, Hollywood act for the majority of their career, and they would have been fine. It might have actually even been better, honestly.
Yeah, and it probably would have been a lot cheaper, because I am assuming that Megan Fox is not cheap to work with. And I mean, this is not the first time that we've discussed failed celebrity lineups. I mean, we talked about it in Pause or Repeat. Crime Boss, Rock K City has a stellar celebrity lineup. You can see some people on this blockbuster photo lineup. You can see Chuck Norris, there's Danny Trejo and Vanilla Ice, to name a few. So this is a prime example of how celebrities won't get you sales, because this massively tanked. It's like, oh gosh, I mean, the bomb rush of people slapping this with negative press was bad. It just was bad. And so, like, I mean, that brings me back to my point. I mean, why do they keep continuing to do this trend of getting Hollywood celebrity actors for marketing purposes when clearly gamers will thrash it apart? Or is this a sense of a level where they teach you in film school and communications in college there's no such thing as bad publicity?
Well, that's probably part of it, but I think that, really the prime example here is Crime Boss Rock City, where, I think that a lot of people were really hyped for the game because you saw that cast and you're like, oh man, this game has to be good, right? And then it didn't really hold up after that. I think that it's getting to the point now, around this time, that gamers are starting to see if there's a big name celebrity involved with your video game, that's a little bit of a red flag. It's not necessarily going to be bad. I've heard, I haven't played it yet because it just came out today.
That's what I'm saying, right?
Idris Elba's performance in the Phantom Liberty expansion is amazing. But,
it's hyping up early praise.
Yeah, but once again, to follow off of that commenter that we highlighted, you have to hire an actor that does care about doing a good job, wants to bring passion to the role, and not just phone it in.
Are you trying to take a stab at Nicolas Cage because he wants to get into video game space? Is that what you're trying to tell me, HenricK the Wreck?
Hey,
Come on, man. What's wrong with it? Gone in 60 Seconds is a fabulous film.
I would say, actually, Nicolas Cage probably would do an amazing job as a voice actor for a video game. He did a great job in Into the Spider-Verse.
I see where you went there. See, you saved yourself right there. Okay, that's fair. That's fair enough. I'll give you that. But hey, I mean, if you guys are vibing with celebrities inside video games, or if celebrities inside video games just drive you insane, comment, because we definitely want to hear from you gamers. And HenricK, our last topic, what's going on? There's a lot of upset gamers over an iconic franchise in the sports world. Tell the people what's good or bad.
Well, any of our viewers, if you guys play video games, most likely you're familiar with microtransactions. And it feels like every game nowadays most likely has microtransactions. NBA 2K24 is no exception to that. And it actually reignited the conversation about, egregious microtransactions all over again, because the makers of NBA 2K24 added a subscription fee to this year's game at release earlier this month, and the extra microtransaction in the game is one that players can choose to pay for if they want to unlock additional rewards. And we do have a graphic up here kind of showing, what the season pass is looking like. And you don't have to buy it. It's not a requirement for you to be able to play the game. But it did get a lot of backlash from people online who say that the game continues to give benefits to those who are willing to pay to win, rather than the people who are just wanting to pay the $70 that the game is worth and not have to pay another $10 every 6 weeks for this subscription.
Wait. You said every 6 weeks I have to pay $10?
Yep. Every 6 weeks, there's a $10 fee to be on this subscription. Crazy,
wow, and
right?
that like plagues some of the two most popular game modes. My Career and My Team are heavily geared towards online play. And yeah, the longtime gamers are super pissed off. I mean, you got one person that wrote here, gaming industry needs another crash. This stuff is unacceptable. Every time they say that this new monetization will give 40 additional rewards, that means that they will remove 40 items from the base game to give them as paid rewards. Excellent point.
Yep.
The company name 2K refers to the amount of money they want you to pay for each game they produce. That's a good one.
That is a good one.
They should have called your player VC instead of NP this year. Virtual coin, not my player. To those of you who always try to defend microtransactions by saying things like, quote, no one is forcing you to buy them. What's the big deal? End quote. This is the perfect example of why we always complain about it, because these companies always go too far. They always attempt to push things beyond the limit to the point where it literally affects everyone's experience. This is why microtransactions are bad. It starts off where you can ignore it at first, but eventually it spirals out of control due to greed. Just for the record, Charles Barkley refuses to be in the game until 2K donates to the NBA Alumni Association that helps retired NBA players who struggle financially. And last, as long as enough people spend increasingly more money on practices like these, things will only continue to get worse. And man, oh man, they were not happy, because in NBA 2K24, players can choose to spend their time practicing to upgrade their or they can open their wallet and purchase the upgrades with real dollars. And I don't blame them. I mean, this is one of the screenshots that's been circulating across the web. I mean, how do you compete with this? I mean, when you got a 95 defensive perimeter, yeah, I mean, that's going to be freaking annoying. I mean, this guy's going to be glued to you like peanut butter and jelly. I mean, come on, man. I mean, like, this is going to be insane. And, and then you think about some of these, for my team, for example, if you're paying to get these packs and you get lucky to pull out, let's say, a Kyrie Irving, or a LeBron James, either or, I mean, man, your team's going to be loaded. And, I mean, this doesn't stop companies like this. I mean, Take-Two Interactive Software, HenricK the Wreck and I, we were digging into this because we were so curious to know why companies like in the world of 2K embrace this? Well, the company that publishes NBA 2K and other games, including Red Dead Redemption and Grand Theft Auto, reported that it made $1.9 billion in the United States from microtransactions alone across all its games in the year 2022, which accounted for about 64% of the company's revenue for that year. Physical copies aren't doing it. Digital copies aren't doing it. Microtransactions are doing it. And for context, the major blockbuster film of that year, Top Gun Maverick, earned $1.5 billion worldwide. Again, they made $1.9 billion in the United States alone. Top Gun Maverick earned $1.5 billion worldwide. You think this is going to stop anytime soon? Sorry,
no, it definitely
you gamers have
will
embraced
not.
it.
Now,
God,
considering those numbers, they have great incentive to continue their microtransaction crusade. Because why would you? If you're a company, you have to think about at the end of the day, these are companies. They are for-profit companies that have shareholders and board of directors that they're trying to appease to. And when they see big numbers like this from microtransactions, that's a green light go for them to continue to do what they're doing, because clearly it's working. They're clearly making money, and it's not going to stop until us as the paying customers stop giving them our money.
Right, and boycott, but you're not, because we always see those videos all the time where they're like, hey, babe, don't bitch when I pay $300, for the new game. And the crazy part about this is with NBA 2K, your player resets when the new game drops. You don't get to bring that player with you. All that real life money that you invested in this game is for 365 days worth of fun. Like, dog, you need a reality check. Like, if that's how you roll in life, spending all this money on microtransactions. And I know a lot of people want to take stabs at Take-Two Interactive, but they're not the only ones. I mean, Electronic Arts, they're always being made fun of. Man, they're this money-hungry machine. I mean, they produce games like FIFA, which is, now changed to Sports FC. But we're talking FIFA for the moment because this statistic that I'm about to grill into your head is from 2020, and they made games like FIFA, Madden, and Need for Speed, all seeing huge dollars in microtransactions. And in 2020, the company made $1.5 billion in the U.S. just from its Ultimate Team game mode in FIFA. One game.
Yeah, and I'd say, honestly, a lot of these free-to-play games are probably the worst offenders of this. Giving an example from EA, Apex Legends is free-to-play, and I guarantee you that's a money printer for them, because they constantly are having sales in their shop. They have a battle pass. They have, collection events where you can, pay money for more cosmetics. There's so much monetization in that game, and even if you or I doesn't necessarily pull out our money and then say, here, let me buy all this, there's people out there who look at that and say, oh man, I need this skin, or I need this heirloom, or I need this part of the game unlocked, and immediately they're just gonna not even think about it twice. They're just gonna pay for whatever they need to pay for.
And that's true, but also, to be fair, when you're comparing things to like Xbox and Fortnite, for example, a cosmetic skin's not going to elevate your game. Compared to like NBA 2K, you start getting a 94 player on my team, or you start to upgrade your, my player, and you start to compete in online play, you're like, dude, I just want to play the game when I paid it at the base level of $70+, and I didn't want to pay for all the extra expenses. I didn't want to pay for the subscription fee. And now I can't even enjoy the online experience that I've loved for the past 5 years because you guys wanted to implement this new model. It's a shame. It's unfortunate.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true. I mean, I think that the thing that a lot of people can't really defend, and at least shouldn't, is, it's one thing to have those cosmetic things that you can buy that don't do anything but just look nice. And then it's another thing to be like this, where you're literally just saying, I can pay $20 and get ahead of the person who didn't pay $20.
Exactly. And so when you see that microtransactions are completely dominating the scope, and you see Take Two, and you see Electronic Arts, and you see, the new Grand Theft Auto about to be coming out, and there's, there's been speculations over how my team and, well, more on the lines of my team has been fueling a gambling habit with young gamers, because essentially you're paying money in, you don't even know what's going to be in that pack of cards. It's like buying a Pokemon deck. You're going to rip the pack open, and then you're just going to hope and pray that you get the player that you want. So, I mean, who knows? I don't see this going away anytime soon. They're going to be embracing it because clearly, as we were kind of saying at the top of the show, it's really difficult for a lot of the AAA studios to develop new IP because they don't want to invest $200 to $300 million on a new venture because they're not too sure whether gamers will really want to embrace that, because sequels, remakes, and spin-offs have been dominating the scope of the video game world. So this is a big excuse that I could just hear the developer saying, well, this is what helps us fund our new IP. This is what helps us build upon it. But hey, I mean, as long as you, the gamers, stop buying, or if you keep buying, why would they stop? Again,
Yeah.
64%.
I mean,
that's a lot.
Yeah. And if they're saying as the excuse, like, oh, this is just a way for us to fund our other ventures, you're basically then selling these games as a Kickstarter project.
Yeah. I mean, it's totally wild. And I'm just glad to say I'm not one of those people that have given any money to 2K, and I have not invested $2,000 into your game. But hey, I mean, if it's for you and you like it, join the conversation. We always love to hear from you guys live during the show. But man, this has been such a jam-packed show for everybody that's been tuning in with us live on Rage Quit Video Game Talk Show. And if you've made it this far, you might as well hit the like and subscribe button and the notification bell so you never miss a live show. And HenricK the Wreck, I know you always got something cooking up on your YouTube channel, and let the people know what's good. Where can they find you?
Yeah, so you can find me on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. And I do post every Friday a video about either a game to play or a game that's in development and needs a little bit more attention because it looks awesome. And this week, it's another in development soapbox, so stay tuned for that.
Hey, that's what's good. And if you want more interviews along in the music scope, film, and so much more, join my website, chriscollinshow.com. You will see endless content there. But for now, we will see you live next Tuesday at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Go buy a new game. I think it's that time. Fall just started. I think it's time for you to play something new. But for now, we'll see you
get ready
next
to be
week.
inside.
Yeah, be ready to be inside. And we will see you next week, fam. Peace.
Yep. See you next week, everyone. Time to rage again, then.
Yeah, that's right. Let's rage.